Hello everyone, welcome to Analog IAS Current Affair Analysis for 5th May 2020, and these are the articles we'll be dealing today. The first article for the day is taken from the Indian Express and it is titled Let's Lighten the Burden. So with COVID-19 crisis, board exams have been postponed. So in this context, the author of this article tries to relook at our education system and the efficacy of board exams and in general our examination system. So every year by this time the 10th and 12th board exams would have been finished and almost in a week's time the results would have come out. So this became a sort of a ritual in the Indian school system, burdening millions of students. At the same time, the mental pressure and agony that a student goes through while giving this ritualistic exam is something that we have to ponder upon. So every crisis is an opportunity, and COVID-19 has impacted the normalcy in every sector, every walk of life. So this article is talking about the educational sector, especially the high school. So the decision with respect to postponing the exams is quite obvious when it came to COVID-19. So the choice was this: either you conduct the exam or risk the lives of the students who are going to write these exams in the examination halls. Because of the COVID-19 crisis, many secondary board educational departments and various state governments were in a fix whether to conduct this exam or to completely scrap it altogether. So that is not the bigger question that the governments must focus upon in these times of crisis. So the author feels that we have to relook at our educational system because these board exams produce a lot of fear, anxiety, and there were even cases where students committed suicides because they were not able to handle this pressure. And this performance pressure is closely linked to their future. So there is a vast amount of information that you have to by heart, and this by hearted information must be expressed in stressful conditions. So is this the kind of examination system we want to go forward even when there is an opportunity to address this? Do we have to relook at our educational system? Yes, the answer is definitely yes. The problem here is there is no conclusive answer to find out a particular solution to the kind of problem that these board exams pose. In a normal situation, board exams are an easy metric to judge the students' performance, and admissions for colleges are based upon the performance of these exams. But in the absence of these board exams, what should be the alternative framework? If you take a look at every committee that tried to understand the problems of the Indian education system, they have lamented the futility of this particular board exams because they don't produce any good results in the longer run. All we are trying to do is manipulating the student to believe that somehow his future is going to be dependent upon the performance of these exams. It is an easy way out, but the government cannot afford to escape, especially when the majority of the population, that is up to 60% of the population in the coming days, would be in the age group of 15 to 55 years. That is the age of demographic dividend. So this COVID-19 has become a sort of a wake-up call even for education sector. So there were certain colleges with a cutoff percentage as high as 99% and even 100%. So there is hardly any difference between a student who is scoring 90% and 100%. Probably it must be a case where the student had one particular bad day in the exam, or there might be various other factors. But are the colleges considering that fact? So the future of the student is simply decided by one exam, which is contingent upon various other factors. The major problem of the education system is this: we only have limited seats. For the past years or many decades, to be very frank, the population increased significantly, but if you take the educational seats into consideration at secondary level or even higher educational level, they have not increased proportionately. We still don't have enough IITs to cater to the IIT aspirants. We don't have enough medical colleges to cater to the medical college aspirants. the college fees are exorbitantly priced. So any student who is aspiring to become a better professional, or a person from a lower middle class family or a lower class family, sees education as a tool for social mobility. So this social mobility is being denied to the student. So we have to relook at our examination system. The starting point would be to scrap the 10th board exam this year completely and continue their admission into higher education. So that should be the starting step for a revolutionary change in our education system. So the author is not advocating that we have to blindly promote every student. The restructuring starts with this first step. So what should be followed? We have to redesign our curriculum in such a way that the natural abilities of the student are enhanced. The student should not be forced to read something that he does not understand or is not interested in learning at the secondary level. He should have the right to choose, and rightly now we do have a choice. We have a choice between the arts and the sciences. But seriously, if we take a closer look, it is the limited options in the higher educational level that could effectively translate into job opportunities that is deciding the choice of students in the secondary level of education. So most of the students in the 11th and 12th classes would either opt for physics, maths and biology or commerce, depending upon their employability in the future. So this system has to change. That is the gist of this article. The second article for the day is taken from the Live Mint and it is titled "A New Economy Must Take Shape Once the Crisis Passes." So if we take a look at our syllabus, there is a topic called economic growth and also economic development. So this particular article talks about the importance of not just having a growth model but a developmental model. So if you take the case of COVID-19 and how the governments have responded and how the public responded. So as soon as the lockdown was imposed, we could not survive even 1 week without talking about the distress that migrant labor are undergoing. So this is the reality of the country. As many as 25 to 30 crore migrant labor were starving from day 2 or day 3 of their lockdown period. So this is the reality. They cannot afford to stop their work at least for 2 or 3 days. If they are doing that, they cannot survive. That is the kind of poverty and that is the kind of growth that we are looking at now. So how should the governments respond in this case? Always the emphasis has been on growth. So we were always focused on increasing the number of this GDP, and this GDP has been reinvested into our economy in the form of various social sector spending. But this has hardly been sufficient to address the problems of our economy. One major reason cited by many economists is we deal with different problems in silos. We are not dealing at this problem of interrelated concepts as a systemic whole. For example, if you take the case of poverty, it is intricately linked to our malnourishment, it is intricately linked to our educational levels, our sanitation levels, it is linked to our ability to earn as well. So the schemes which are trying to address this key issue of poverty must also take into consideration the various aspects of poverty. So any scheme that is trying to address the issue of livelihoods should also be in tandem with the schemes that address education, sanitation, access to clean water, access to clean food, malnourishment, undernourishment, all these issues. The issue of health, education and employability should be interconnected. That is the idea of development. Unless and until we look at development as a concept of empowerment, we are not looking at economic policies in the way they should be looked at. So the author of this article emphasizes on the systems concept for economic development. That is the gist of this article.